Corn's here. Yeah. Corn's here. Gotta wait for people to come in and for the chat to catch up. What's up, guys? Hi, for those of you who don't know me, I am Dutchess. This is my channel, Dutchess Divinity, and we do lots of stuff, but today we're going live. I'm gonna channel Osiris, Ausar. Hi. Hi, Lizzie. And see what he has to say, because I guess we unearthed this, hi, Allie. Hi, Harley. I guess we unearthed a big, like, ancient tomb of Osiris. So I'm gonna see about channeling him and see what comes through. And thank you. It's old. It's from college. This was one of my friends from college. Hi. One of his sweaters. And he was like, I don't want it anymore, and I feel like I want you to have it. Well, good choice giving it to me if you loved it, because I still have it that many years later. It's like my Bert and Ernie sweater, kind of. Hi. The chat's being a little chaotic and sporadic. Hey, Madison. What's up, guys? How are you doing today? So I want to talk about some stuff too. She's like, hey, if you're going to hit me, I'm going to mess with your necklace. My tooth, my coyote tooth from my crossroads working. She's so silly. Silly corn. Oh my gosh, you're so silly. Oh, I love you. Hi. I'm doing good. Ah! Corn! I'm doing good. Thanks. I'm doing good. Just working a lot, clean the house today. Just trying to relax, take it easy, not be too hard on myself or like go too hard in life in general. But so BW going to come my way. I don't know what that means. But yeah, so I did want to talk about today too. So I have a bunch of stuff that I'm going to be doing. We're going to be doing a call me spell. That's going to be on Wednesday. The link for that is on my website. I will link it in the comment section after the reading. Everyone hit the like so others get notified of the live. Thank you. Yeah, it's like surprisingly very few people in here, but whatever, I don't know. Maybe it's because of the picture on the front. I should have put a picture of my face so people know it's me. I'll put a picture of my face after. I'm so sorry. Mercury retrograde, I like can't think straight. I'm like moving slowly, but it's all good. So there's going to be a call me spell on Wednesday. It's going to have an ocean offering, so that's going to be really cool. The information for that is up on my website, and I will link that in the comments below. I'm also going to be doing an offering for my grandmother and my great-grandmother, because both their birthdays are coming up, January 26th and February 13th. So we're going to do like a nice offering for them of food, and yeah. We're almost done with Mercury retrograde, just a couple more days. Okay, cool. That felt like it went really fast. Thank you, Lizzie. So yeah, the other one is going to be really nice. We're just going to pray to my relatives, give them some food, say thank you. And if you feel like my relatives have helped you in any way, or if you feel like, you know, you just want to show like homage to them, or you want me to, so I was praying to them the other day, and we were praying they were standing over me, and I was praying for like a really pure love, a pure and timeless love to like get me through this lifetime, because I want to find a partner. Like I want like a life partner to get me through. And I think I've wanted that for a long time, but it was like also really scary to think about like committing to someone. But now I'm just like really like trying to set the intentions like that is what I want, and like that I can move through like my fears of commitment and stuff like that. And so I was just asking for a love that's like pure and timeless. And so if you want me to pray that over you, that's up on my website as well. And you get like a petition. I'm gonna burn the petitions down by the river. It's gonna be nice. It's cheap, it's nice, and yeah, it'll be good. Missed the first time on this channel. What are we doing here? Can I ask? I'm going to be channeling Osiris. Thanks for coming through. Hope you like it. Okay, and then guys, also please, if you could give me recommendations for tarot readings tomorrow, like once this video gets uploaded for Tarot Tuesday, if you have stuff you want to get the reading about, just put that in the comments after. And also, yep, my Orgonite will be dropping tomorrow. We'll talk about all this on Tarot Tuesday tomorrow too. I have it on a list because there's so much stuff. I'm gonna have Orgonite that's dropping tomorrow, which will be great. The trays, if you saw the trays in the last reading, and then we'll use some more Orgonite in the reading tomorrow. We'll just use stuff that'll be available on the site. So if you had your eye on one of the trays from the reading, make sure you grab it tomorrow. Yeah, I think that's it. And then I have some really cool stuff coming for Valentine's Day, but you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I have sex and date night potion. I have beauty potion. I have, we're going to do like a spell to connect with Venus and to cleanse our womb space, I think. I'm going to have spiritual baths, the sugar scrubs, you name it, I'm going to have it. And, yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah, so let's go ahead and I'm going to start channeling Osiris because I don't want this to be too long, but I have a list of questions here that I collected from Instagram. So like if you want to follow me on Instagram, then you can partake when we do polls like this, and we also do other fun stuff over there if you're like into that app. Like I know Instagram's not for everyone, but it is fun. We hang out if it's like you like the app. Hi. But yeah, so I got my list of questions, and I will link like my Instagram and everything in the description after. How's it going in here? Thanks, Lizzie. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna smoke a little bowl, I think, and then we'll get into the channeling. Maybe I'll put some like mood lights on for the channeling. That'll be fun. Everybody telepathically call all the usuals to the live. Like Baby Pico, Mariana, Sasha. I'm sending a message in my brain to all of you now. Oh my god. These lights are too flashy. Alright. Okay, let's see. How's this? Yeah, it's blue. This is cool. Now we look ready to channel. Alright. I'm gonna smoke a little bowl if anybody wants to join. Also on Instagram, you get notified before everything else when merch or magical tools or potions are dropped. Yes, thank you, Allie. Wow. You guys are such good moderators. Thank you. You guys are awesome. You remember things that Hi, Robin! I just sent out a call to all the regulars, a telepathic call to all the regulars, so happy you could come through. I was like, where is everybody? Yeah, you do. Instagram gets notified about everything probably at least 24 hours before YouTube. Sasha, Baby Pico, Mariana, Alexandra, and all the regulars come through, right? Come through, guys. I'm excited. I don't have Osiris tattooed on me, but I have Ra and Heru and the symbols of Ra. I have Apet and Sobek. I have Mayurt and Oset, or Isis in her Greek name. Isis is on the back of my leg, which is Osiris's counterpart. So, yeah, I'm excited. This is going to be fun. My only question is, if we just pop up to watch it, is it timeless like tarot, or are these like less exclusive to whoever gets to Insta first? I've always wondered. Loved your channel for years now. Thanks. What do you mean? Less exclusive? Or are these like exclusive? Oh, I understand what you're saying. So like, is the energy still gonna move through this timelessly, even though it's a channeling? It's a different kind of channeling. It's not a tarot channeling. The answer to that is going to be yes, but it's also going to be timely in what's going on right now, because a lot of the questions can be timeless, but some of the questions aren't. So like one of the questions is literally like, if you had a chance to return to the earth right now, like, would you or would you not? And so like, that might not always be a timeless answer. But a lot of this, and also like another one that's there are questions that are relevant to some of the struggles that we're experiencing right now, but at the same time, these struggles could definitely be overarching and could continue into the future. And especially since it's like struggles that we have been experiencing for a while, it's probably something that's like gonna be timeless. So yeah, I think so. I think it'll be fine and timeless. And then also, if you see a live and then it's gone, it's usually because I was like, whoa, that was like way too vulnerable for me to leave online. So I guess it is kind of exclusive like that sometimes, because like certain things I don't want to just leave on the internet. And so because you know, you just leaving yourself out there for like the vultures, basically, for everyone and their mother to come and like feed on your vulnerabilities. So some of the lives, it's like you catch them in the moment if I'm feeling some kind of way, and then they're gone after that, you know? Thank you. Yes, exactly. My body is my journal and my tattoos are my story. Johnny Depp. Neat. Yeah. I can't stop staring at my tattoos lately. I'm like, whoa. It's like all of a sudden this is going to sound really weird, but I feel like we timeline hopped when we stepped into 2023, and I feel like this like cloud has been like, this veil has been lifted off of me, and I feel like I'm seeing myself more clearly and more in depth. And I also feel like I'm seeing the way people see me, and I'm all more clearly, and I'm also seeing other people more clearly. And I definitely feel like the dragon fast really had something to do with that, and I'm gonna be fasting a lot more like on my own, and then we'll do group stuff again too. But like, fasting really helps me, definitely. So I'll probably be giving something up for Lent this year, just because I think it's good to practice discipline and willpower to like just let go of shit. and to create detachment and like cut your cords with stuff. That's all Lent is, right? It's a not all, but it's a fast. It's just you're fasting in the name of Christ. Fasting for Jesus. Canoeing for Jesus. The energy in 2022 was muddy as heck. Second, the fasting. I veiled for the last Lent. It's so healing. What is veiled? What does that mean? I see this year I am becoming more and more aware of this matrix we are in. I agree. Me too. So much shadow work for me, especially religious trauma. Actually, yo, same! A bitch almost joined a very cult-like community after a really bad trip. Like, a trip that almost killed me, that, like, sent me to the hospital and everything. Can't trip no more, because, like, that set me over the edge. For a couple years now, I no longer trip because of it. But then I was very vulnerable after, and I almost joined a very cult-like environment, and that wasn't healthy for me, and wanted to change me, and wanted to, you know, brainwash me, as cults do, right? I wore a head covering for all of Lent. Oh, neat. Cool. I literally looked you up right now by search, and you're live. I must have something to hear and learn from you per usual. Hi! I was like calling people telepathically. If you go back to the beginning of the live, thanks for coming, Hood Scientist. But if you go back to the beginning of the live, I was literally like, everybody call everybody telepathically, because I was like, I want more people who are supposed to be here to come. Who needs an algorithm when you've got telepathy? Bro, I want to know more about the Mayan calendar ending. So many questions, right? You're making yourself fast soda at the moment. Nice. That's a great thing to fast. Soda's very harsh on the bod. Mine was a cult like too. Yeah, it is traumatizing when you're in a room full of emotionally charged people who feed off of vulnerability. Damn. That's what that felt like. And my spirits, like, I can remember seeing some of my spirits, like 4 of my spirits, up at the front of the church looking at me like, Nikki, what are you doing here? Like, just looking at me with, like, these eyes, because, like, you know, it's like you have free will, so there's, like, nothing they can really do, but looking at me like, girl, you serious? Like, you're eating this shit up right now? You're letting them talk to you like this? Treat you like that? Like, and they don't really, like, show themselves. Like, I'll see them in my mind's eye and stuff, but, like, to actually see them was like, oh, this is big. But also it would make sense, too, because it's, like, a spiritual place already, so it makes sense I would, like, actually see them there. They would look at me like, that's the same look when I get the Ten of Swords card in the Halloween deck, and I say it's your ancestors, and that it reminds me of the SpongeBob guy that's like looking like that. That's the look. It's the look of, girl, like, really? You know this isn't good for you. Why are you doing it? The Mayan calendar actually ended in 2020 because our Gregorian calendar is off by 8 years. Jesus. Hi, Nicole. Here to smoke a bowl with you. Hell yeah, you must have heard my telepathic call as well. So we are currently living in what the Mayans called the 4th world. That's really interesting. 38 people in here. 38 breaks down to an 11. I've been hearing doomsday prophecies circulate again this year, but now it's linked with the ascension prophecies. It feels so vibrationally bad to me. You know, hey Maria, damn, everybody is hearing my telepathic call. Smoking a joint now. Hey boo, hey guys, all the stoners in here, getting ready to channel. Wow, that worked so well. Thank you to everybody who put out a telepathic message to call in the tribe. Yeah, if you could elaborate on the fourth world, I'd be interested in that. But let me tell you something, guys. Here's what I know, and I'm not allowed to know too much. I'm only allowed to know what's gonna get us through, basically, because the more you know about timelines, the more details you know about the future can affect the timelines and how they're playing out. Not to mention, as someone who literally, as a psychic, who literally used to be able to predict shit down to the day, like I could predict stuff down to the day of it happening. I did it a couple times. One time this plane went down, I had no idea like where it went down, and this woman was like, point to any spot on the map, and I literally pointed to the spot where it went down. Like, I'm just a channel. I'm just an open channel. And so since 2020, no timelines are solid. They are all rough. Like, you can't necessarily pinpoint stuff down to the exact days or months or anything, like, because there are so many different timelines in flux at once. But what I will tell you is that we're not going to lose. We didn't incarnate during this time to lose. It can feel really horrific, but I have to tell you, as a psychic, I haven't had like deep feelings of doomsday in a while. I used to before 2020. Like, when 2020 came, I felt impending doom, and I think we were going down a really bad timeline, but I think we kind of skated over it. Like, it was obviously still a bad fucking timeline, but it didn't go like dystopian or like, you know, it didn't go like the world didn't go up in flames. Like, it felt like it could for a while, if that makes sense to you guys, because that's how it felt to me. And I don't feel like that anymore. Like, I genuinely don't have those like we're all gonna die feelings, any like psychic feeling, or like something's coming that could wipe all us out feelings. It feels like the more the truth unravels, and the more it feels like 2020 was almost like even though it was horrific and traumatizing, and that needs to be acknowledged, it was almost like watching like these poor supervillains slowly crumble beneath the pressures of like of an apocalypse. And it was like a manufactured highly organized yet very sloppy apocalypse. So there were so many holes, and so to watch the truth, like, as I watched, because I feel like so much of the stuff that came out as truth now, I've known since probably like 3 years before 2020. Because I just started my ascension, I started my journey, it was laid in my path to know the things, to be aware about certain issues that maybe people weren't aware of before 2020 existed. I was already in it because I'm a psychic. I'm always ahead of everybody. I'm a couple years ahead. So it feels like when crap hit the fan and I could see like doom coming, I saw a way more fucked up timeline. It was like the more we started to go down the doomsday timeline, the more the truth shone through. And then as the truth shone through, the more goodness came out, because people started to take their power back or understand, you know, lies that had been fed to them. And so the more I saw, even though it was fucked up and horrendous and traumatizing, and it needs to be acknowledged for exactly what it was, a really fucked up groupthink, severe, like, delusion. I don't even know what to call that was, but it was a gentler way than, like, let's say like a solar flare that knocked out all of like electricity, and now we're all like, all of a sudden it's like we're all living without electricity. You know what I mean? Like, I know that's in a lot of prophecies, like the great blackout or whatever they call it. And it's like, it's almost like 2020 was a horrific yet gentle way. No matter what, it's going to be horrific, you know, how we're shifting humanity. But yeah, so I don't feel that we're headed towards doom. I feel truth keeps winning. I feel light keeps winning. I feel that people keep waking up. And I'm actually glad we're talking about this, because it's been something that's been really on my mind, is the idea of NPCs and non-playable characters. And so I understand NPCs in a couple different ways. I understand them as NPCs in your life, and then NPCs in general. So I think that I would call someone who's like a non-playable character someone who has lost the meaning of life and lost their soul, and that can be for any reason. Almost like someone who's very dead inside. And I think so many of us, it's truly because of trauma. And as I understand trauma and dissociation, it's like when certain things happen to the body that are deeply traumatizing, it's so horrifying for your soul, that because your soul is so pure, that your soul just like jumps out of your body, which is why, in my opinion, when you see people get really bad news and they faint, that's literally their soul being like, fuck this, I'm out, like, I can't deal. It's like your soul is pure. We're fleshy form. Like, we're low, but we're dense, low vibrational, and it's not a bad thing. We're just dense, like humans. So your soul's like, nope, can't do it. Because this is a very polarized, very dense reality. And we're shifting into the 5D. And I guess, like I was saying, COVID was showing me that we really were shifting out of the 3D and into the 5D. And there's going to be certain people who choose to live in that fear vibration and choose to believe lies. And they're going to get left in the 3rd vibration. We're all going to be living together, but their perceptions of the world are going to be completely different from someone who's in a 5th dimensional space of thinking, of optimism, of openness, of gratitude, of neutrality. The fucking power of neutrality, dude. Like, neutrality can get you through some rough shit by just... A big realization I had on my vacation was I cannot control life. I can literally only control how I react to it, because I needed rest. I needed to not feel stressed out. And some just like shitty little things kept happening that could have ruined my time. Like my fucking entire neck and shoulder being fucking twisted up my entire trip. It sucked, but I made the best of it. Let me support my back as I say that. But so it's like I had to choose, how was I going to react? I was going to fucking take some Advil and have a good time, you know, like, and relax and be kind to my body, and maybe not do the yoga on the beach. Maybe just fucking just lay there for a minute, you know? And so neutrality, yeah. That's what I was getting at. But the whole NPC thing. So someone can become a non-playable character in your life. In my understanding, the way I see it, it's like people make a choice whether they want to like move forward with you or not. And if, you know, you guys end up separating, like I'm someone who has experienced so much in my life and also moved so much in my life that I had to get, and also had so many toxic relationships that I had to learn how to be like really okay with letting go of people. And I feel like it's okay if someone is like super important to you at one point in your life, but then like somewhere down the road they're kind of just like a non-playable character to you because they're not in your proximity grid, or they just you're no longer in alignment, or for whatever reason. It's okay to be like, I cherish what we had and I value you, but you no longer are a player in my life, and that's okay. So then it's like you kind of put them to the side. And then I think of NPCs as well as people who are so traumatized that, like, these are random strangers that are so traumatized that their souls are out their body all the time. People with addictions, whenever you have certain when you're putting, you know, you're drinking, you're using drugs, you're using a substance outside of your natural form, it's going to make you more of an open channel for things that aren't human, because you're like altering your state of humanity. yeah, in like an unnatural way, if that makes sense. And that's why spirits is alcohol and it attracts spirits, and that's why it was like called spirits, because like a lot of things that were never human or that you know, are just different from humans will come in with that. I'm just rambling now. But yeah, so there are all these people walking around, you know, with their souls fucking out of their body, whether it be because trauma or addictions or because they just don't feel like being in their body, or illness. Illness can make your soul want to fucking dip because it's like, no, I don't want to deal with this. This is really hard. And then anything can come in. And so that I'm glad we talked about that, because I feel like I have hope that it's like the non-playable characters that are so traumatized or whatever and out of their body. I feel like so many are turning on, where it's like they wake up and it's like all of a sudden, instead of like being constantly out of their body and like letting other people or the government or spirits like take the wheel in their flesh suit, they're, you know, coming back, you know, working through the shadow, doing the healing, being the best version of themselves they can be, creating a beautiful life. And then it's like that, it's a snowball effect, and then the next NPC around them is like, hey, I want to do that too. And then, you know what I'm saying? And so I do feel confident that we are on an upward swing, but it's like an avalanche and we need to gain momentum, and the more momentum we gain, the more change we'll see. I need a drink of water. Wow, that was a rambling channel. I'm gonna have to listen back to this. Alright, we're gonna start channeling Osiris after. Oh no. My dragon fell right on his butt in such a cute way. Look at he's so cute. Oh, he's got a fuzz on him. So cute. And look at this guy. Look at its butt. I love it so much. And this is a blob. This is supposed to be a cat toy, but I took it because I wanted it, and Cornica didn't seem to care about it. Okay. All right. Thank you. Girl, I so get that. I had a friend who was like a soulmate, but we're too different now. She came back into my life last Mercury retrograde. We tried reconnecting, but it's like you said, different grids. Yeah. Non-reactivity and radical acceptance is so powerful. Yes, dude, that's the lesson I'm learning currently. Guys, let's put a protection cloak over us. I'm starting to glitch out. I have a calling to say that right now. All right, yeah, let's do it. I want to say a prayer anyway. Just got here. Glad I made it. For some, had to keep refreshing to see this. No notification. We knew it. That's why we sent out a telepathic call. You heard our telepathic call, Sasha. All right, we're going to start with a prayer. You came just in time. We're starting now. The channeling of Ausar. All right. Benevolent guides, guardians, ancestors, angels, star family, higher self, Yeshua, Baal, Ra, and God source. I humbly come to you today on behalf of myself and all those watching this and all those who will watch this in the future, and just say thank you for everything that you bless us with. We're so grateful for everything. We know that there are so many good things in our lives. And we just want to come to you with an open, grateful, and humble heart to say thank you for those good things. And we also accept the challenges with grace, because we understand that those situations help us grow. And so we say thank you for those as well. And I ask, please, that I be a messenger for the divine, nothing more, nothing less. Let no truth be told for a lie, and no lie be told for a truth. Let all the information that comes through be kind, palatable, and easy to understand. Let all the information that comes through come from the source consciousness from which all things come. Let it come through Christ consciousness as well. And please grant me access to the Akashic records so that I may give an accurate and helpful reading to all those encountering this. And I ask, please, that this only ever be for the highest and greatest good of all those watching, the highest and greatest good of humanity, and the highest and greatest good of this universe. Amora Ashe Namaste, by the power of three, so mote it be, always works, always a blessing. I pray all of this with the purest of hearts and the best of intentions. And I specifically now want to call upon Osiris, Ausar, as I have called you for the time of knowing you, because that is your original name. So, Ausar, I'd like to call you in now, please, and ask you a few questions with your consent, only in Christ consciousness and source consciousness. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is my body just got like so heavy. I'm going to turn off the chat so I don't get distracted. ADD. Okay. My body just got very heavy and I just felt like a cool breeze go all up my legs, and I feel very like super chill and very calm. And so what I'm gonna do is I am not gonna fucking talk them through my body. That takes way too much energy out of me. And it also makes me uncomfortable to not be in control of like me. So I'm gonna channel like the way I channel the readings, and when I channel your people, it's gonna be like that, where it's like I'm gonna let him show me stuff and talk through me, like through images and like hearing what he's saying and then like relaying everything to you instead of just letting me be like, because I don't want to do that. Okay. So I'm seeing a lot of blue and a lot of green. And like I said, that beautiful, like chilly air just came up and I feel very chill. I feel very calm. I feel very relaxed and I feel very dense. I feel very weighted, almost as if I have like a weighted blanket over me. And I feel like even my eyes, he just said, you are so familiar with Kemet. And this was the prevailing energy at night in Kemet, because it was so hot during the day, but that like nice chill breeze, that calm energy, oh my god, I gotta go to Egypt. I just know it'll activate my DNA. I was definitely alive during that time, but I think I was an interdimensional. I don't think I was human. I think I was more than human. One of the visitors, you know? Okay, so someone wants to know about the battle of the sexes. Why has there been such a kick up with the divine feminine and divine masculine energy kind of attacking each other recently with like anger and hatred? How can we heal that? How can we bring more peace to that? And when I had wrote this question, and there's four people in here, when I had wrote this question, it said, I heard him say, ah yes, a tale as old as time, conquer and divide. And so basically what I'm seeing is I'm seeing like a bunch of sludge and garbage, and he's just saying like there's a lot. Okay, I'm just gonna speak. There's a lot that needs to be purged right now. There is so much under the surface. There's so much going on underneath the earth, literally within the earth, inner earth, underground, you know, the trafficking, everything like that. Like there's a lot there. You think bad shit's happening above ground, think about what's happening underground. And basically he's saying this huge sudden kick up in the divide and conquer energy between the sexes, and between people just feeling unsafe, like, and attacking the opposite sex, is literally like this purging negative energy that's literally coming from within, because there's a major shift that's happening. And basically, for us to get into the fifth dimension and for us to go from the old earth to the new earth, we have to lift all that sludge like out from underneath us, because it's like we're living on top of all this sorrow and despair. And honestly, guys, I had a really fucked up dream last night, and it was really interesting because I know Elizabeth April also had a very recent vivid dream about, cult-like activity and the horrors of human trafficking and everything like that. And I had a very visceral dream last night of something similar, and like, just really, I'm not going to get into details because it's horrible, but just like really foul. It felt very real. And I actually did want to bring this concept up as well. The idea that as our souls are out astrally traveling and like fighting this spiritual war, I do feel like there are these pockets and camps of like torture and abuse for your soul, where like if you're traveling the astrals and you get caught by the wrong people, they can take you to these places. Because so much of my time in my dreams, I'm going on what I call missions, where I'm going to these like they're like campuses, like small cities, houses, almost like trap houses of just like horrors. And I'm having to rescue like women and children's souls, and men as well, but mostly women and children and I've had these dreams for years, and I have to get them out of these places into somewhere safe. And so I feel like I just feel like that's happening too. That was just something I wanted to add as he was talking about this. But let me get back to what he was saying. He's like, you interrupted me. Let me get back to it. I'm sorry. He's like, it's all relevant. It's fine. So all this sludge has to come up from inner earth because we're like living on top of that energy. And so all that is coming up. And so what I was saying at the beginning as well, he's trying to remind me to tell you what I was saying at the beginning, is I'm only allowed to know a certain amount of stuff. When everything locked down with COVID, I freaked out and I was like, what's going on? And I asked my spirits and I was like, how long am I going to be locked down? This was still during the 2 weeks, 14 days as long as bread. Like, what? This was still during that. And I was like, how long am I going to be locked down? And they were like 2.5 years. And I was like, what? Because like I could not have predicted what happened. So like I was like so fucked up about that. But they said about 2.5 years, and when I look back on it, my state that I live in was locked down. All restrictions pretty much lifted 2.5 years into it. And so Spirit told me, and I'm not the only person that Spirit has told this, is that we're in an actual spiritual war until 2024. So it's like we're doing great. 2 more years, right? 2023, 2024. It's like we start to build back everything in a much more cohesive and healthy way after 2024. So it's like we just gotta hang in there. But basically he's saying all this rage against the sexes is because as all this stuff comes to the surface, as the trafficking is being cleared, as there's work being done behind the scenes, as the veil starts to crumble, as we start to see the true intentions of the leaders of the world, as we see, that this globe literally runs on drug and human trafficking, as all of this is coming to the surface, we're mad at each other. Like, we're mad at each other because we're battling out that energy that's going on under our feet, that's like, or going on in our city, or going on in our fucking neighborhood. Like, you never know. This stuff is always hiding in plain sight. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just a reverberation of that energy, and it's all coming up, and it's kind of hitting a peak because the media and the government and everything, they're finding a way to capitalize off of your pain and fear and the collective reverberation of the energy that's coming up from within. And he's saying too, like, up from within means within you too. So if you've been noticing like more emotions coming up, memories, traumas, This is a result of that. You're clearing, you're purging, you're cleansing, but you have to let it up to let it out. It's like, you know, when you gotta vomit something bad out of your body, you just gotta let it out. It's not comfortable, but it gets out what needs to get out, you know? And that's what's happening. And so basically the people that are trying to keep us in a low vibration are trying to kick up our emotions and using different political or modern day hot topics to try and almost like dig into the wounds, to try and feed off of the fear, to suppress everything back down. But like I said, it's like an avalanche. It's only coming up. It's only going to continue to come up. It's gone way too far. It's gone way too far. It's too far gone. So that's why. And to be more at peace. Okay, so he's saying if you want to be more at peace with the other sex, this sounds a little off. Not off, but counterintuitive. He said if you want to make peace with the other sex, the first thing you have to do is make peace with yourself and truly come to peace with who you are. And then also find companionship in the same sex, in the sense that it's like, if you're a woman, find a safe space for women and hold space for women that you love in your life, and really connect with people of the same sex so that you guys can relate to each other. And then it's like you guys can help heal each other. And then it's like, because he's like, if you're in such a raw state of mind, it's going to be harder to go. If you already have a difficult time connecting with the opposite sex, it's going to be even harder when you're feeling so raw and emotional. So go work on healing those wounds with the same sex and be there for each other and relate to each other and connect with each other and maybe bounce ideas off of each other, and then go to try to heal your relationship with the opposite sex. But first, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with the same sex, then your relationship with the opposite sex. What is your opinion on the state of Earth? Oh, good Lord. Let's see. He said, I think it's great. What? So he's showing me, like, you know how there's like a lot of, wow, I just felt that so deeply. You know how there's like a lot of like old monuments and stuff that are underwater now, or like under sand? He's just showing me that, like, the world, he says he thinks it's fantastic because the world hasn't changed drastically and positively in a long time. And the last time he's like showing me reference to like I'm pretty sure it's like, I don't know enough about the history, so I don't want to sound dumb, but I'm pretty sure some of Egypt did get put under sand. I mean, yeah, because they're unearthing these tombs and stuff, but also, like, I'm pretty sure some of it is underwater, like in the ocean or under some water. I feel like I've seen that before, like on Google or something, because everything you see on the internet is true. Just kidding. But anyway, he's showing me how, like, the last time there was a drastic change, it was not like for the better. A lot of information and knowledge was hidden. Like, basically he was showing me these floods going up on like all this sacred knowledge and like all the books and like everything. And so that's the last time the narrative was really shifted. And the narrative, it became very skewed and a lot of lies, which, like, what we've already talked about. So he's saying it's a fantastic time because all those lies are finally crumbling, and now we're stepping back into a time of true knowledge, and the old ways are returning. And that's why these things are like how everyone keeps saying stop like unearthing that like cursed object. It's like new tomb unearthed, new this unearthed, new that unearthed, and it's like then people feel like that's when all the more apocalypse thing, they're like, you're messing with stuff you shouldn't mess with. He's like, no, this is fantastic. He's like, that's just, the fear of the old ways talking, or like what the powers that be want you to think. This is fantastic. This is the time when hidden knowledge is resurfacing, when it's all coming back, when the truth is coming back to be beheld. And I'm pretty sure we're stepping into the age of Aquarius again, which I'm pretty sure was the age of Aquarius during ancient Kemet. And so I just heard Led Zeppelin when he's like, all will be revealed. Ooh, damn, that's so cool. So don't fear when we see these things happening. Like, and don't fear, he's like, and the calendar, it's just like, he's like, we can't fear these things. It already is, right? You can't control life. You can only control how you react to it, like I was saying. Wow, that was really powerful. He wants me to stop joking too. He doesn't like my jokes. Wow, he's serious. And I get it. He's like, you have to focus better. Haven't had to channel someone like that for a while. If you had a chance to return to Earth, would you? Why or why not, and how? He would. Okay, so he kind of said this to me before. He like laughed and he was like, I would only return as an interdimensional. Like he wouldn't come back as a human. But even so, it's more one of those things that he'd rather help from afar. But let's see what he has to say. All right. That is so fascinating. So he was saying that he may return to Earth eventually, but in no less than like 4,000 years, because he would never want to be a part of the society we have now. Not to laugh, but just kind of funny. It's like kind of ghetto, right? Like, he's like, it's just not advanced enough. He was saying that he would come back to do like healing and stuff, like when we actually have the proper like modules and systems that could support the kind of energy that he wields. But right now, okay, he's showing me. So when I watched Gaia, this woman was talking about how one day she was in her living room and this big portal just unzipped open, and like there was like a 9-foot fairy that was just like in her living room, and she said the vibration of this 9-foot fairy was so all-encompassing and shocking, like to her physical bodily system, that she froze. She was like frozen and she couldn't speak. And like even the guy who channels Bashar, like I'm pretty sure it was like Bashar tried to show himself to him and he was like, he like went into like, he like almost passed out or something. It's like we can't, it's really dense. He just wants me to keep reminding you, like, you're doing so good because it's so dense down here. It's so different from the other realms. And it can feel really so hard on starseeds and very heavy on them. And so he's like, it's just too dense, like, for him to come back now. He would just cause chaos and wreak havoc because people wouldn't know how to understand or wield his energy. In our lifetime, though, he's saying we're going to start to see the rebuilding of temples and worship around different devotees, and that he will have a few temples back up in our lifetime. And we're going to see, like, we're just going to see major shifts. Like, he's showing me, like, pyramids and, like, domes and, like, a futuristic society, but, like, of light. That's also still mixed with, like, nature, because it can't overpower the natural state of this realm. And that's also like a vibration we're rising out of, like all the global warming and the like, we're gonna come out of that. We're gonna have solutions for all this shit, but it takes time. And so he's like, I really can't come back any less than 4,000 years from now, and I would not come back as a human. So he would like come back as an interdimensional. He would want to and do healing and teach and like just be a part. But right now, no, he's serving a really good purpose, being like omnipotent. He's like, I'm here in spirit, basically. So like how Jesus is coming back through Christ consciousness, coming into all the individual souls on the planet, like learning to live in unity and love. It's the same way with like Ausar or Osiris. It's like he's here in spirit, where it's like people will be able to channel his energy to make the world a better place. Like I'm a very strong conduit for like Ra. Like I radiate like Ra energy and like Yimoja. Like I just love her. Like those are my two, like the sun and the ocean. Like I just channel them so easily. They're in my soul and my heart. It's like that, where it's like people, he's like, you're doing it right now. Like you're spreading my essence all over the place right now. That's funny. Don't joke. It his essence is like going outward, because it's like on the internet, and it's like in my home, and it's spreading into my energy and my cat, and you know what I'm saying. So it's like he's here in spirit, but he'll be much more help not in a physical form, and just kind of omnipotent in whatever dimension he's in. He said he's in the 8th. If somebody else has channeled something else, no, like that's just what he just said to me. I could be wrong. I don't know, but that would make sense to me. Okay. How do you feel about your tomb being open? Fantastic, right? He's like, this is Cornica. Just being naughty. Sorry. Just being like, sorry. Corn's being crazy. No, Corn. Don't get into stuff right now. No, Corn. No, you don't belong there. Yeah, I know. You don't belong there. No. The cat, as we're channeling about ancient Kemet. Yeah, baby. Just relax with us. We wax, okay? Okay. I handle her like a dog, and I think that's why she's such a good cat and like so good to everybody, because I've always been super just like hands-on and touchy-feely, and just like, you know, play with her and rough her up a little bit and stuff, kind of, because I never had a cat before. I've only had one family dog, and now my sister has a dog, but Corey's my first cat. But I think that's why she's so fun and like sweet and like gets along with everybody, because I kind of like treated her like a dog. She even plays fetch. She came like that though. She was the one who wanted to always play fetch when I first got her. You get her. You get her. Corn break. Osiris is like, this corn break is completely appropriate. Like, he like completely supports it. Corn. Good girl. All right, let's get back to channeling. Okay, Chi-Chi? Okay. How do you feel about your tomb being open? Right. Fantastic. All right, let's see. He's actually feeling really peaceful about it. Like, he feels more at peace. So he's like, don't necessarily believe the narrative that it's like disturbing my slumber or disturbing my peace. I actually feel more at peace because I feel more seen now than I ever have before, in the sense that people are starting to see more intimate details about, you know, the tomb, and understanding him and how his devotees connected with his energy and with his spirit. Like, it's sacred. Okay, you know how everybody freaks out if you like share certain sacred or secret knowledge? And not everybody, but some people will be like, you know, you shouldn't share that, that's a closed practice, blah blah blah. People get very angry, and he's like, what's the point of having this kind of a closed and secret practice during not only the age of information and the time of open and honest knowledge and understanding and truth, the age of Aquarius, but also, what good is hidden knowledge if literally no one has it? Like, yeah, it was probably sacred and hidden knowledge back in the time, but it's not sacred and hidden knowledge if no living person sees it, understands it, or can channel it. It's obsolete. It doesn't exist because people don't know that it's there. So it's like, instead of yelling at people or getting upset with people about, like, you know, giving people tools, basically. He's saying sacred knowledge and information and occult-like knowledge and information are tools. And for so long, humanity has been deprived of tools that are their birthright. Like, it's your birthright to have connection to magic, to have connection to source, to have connection to like dimensions outside of yourself. And it's like, all of the practices have been like closed and hidden, and the most powerful ones have been hoarded to the rich and famous and politicians and whatever, you know, the royalty. It's still like bloodlines and stuff like that. And he's like, that's not the time for it anymore. Sacred knowledge does no good if it's in the hands of the wrong people or in the hands of no one. So he actually feels validated and more at peace knowing that his tomb is being unearthed and that his magic is going back out into the world, and people will eventually become his devotees again. That's super cool. Like, in our lifetime, how we're going to see people become, like, I'm sure there are already devotees, but like actual big temples and stuff, instead of, it's like, they're showing me that instead of, it's like a church in every fucking town, it's like there's a church and there's a temple here and there's, you know, statues of the goddess here, and like, it's just gonna be more balanced. Okay. What does the unearthing of your tomb mean? I feel like we already got a step forward. He just said it's a step forward. It's a step forward in the right direction. And like, he's just reiterating everything about like the age of Aquarius. This is really cool. How can we rebirth ourselves in the new year? All right, so he said routine, discipline, and solitude. So if you really want to make a change and you really want to rebirth yourself, or if you've been really feeling like clogged up with all the energies of like humanity or the collective, or like clogged with energies of like pain and suffering, or anything that you don't that's not serving you, the solitude is going to help you. And really, like, and when he's saying solitude, he's saying like less screen time, less social media, less looking for influences outside yourself, less phone. Like, I heard somebody say a phone is like another appendage. It's like you're another, and I felt that, and I didn't want that, because I never used to be like that. Like, my phone was never an extension of me, and now it is, and I feel like I need to be like less on the phone. And he's saying that that helps, like, in a state of rebirth, because when you have all these outside influences that have access to you and that you have access to, it really takes you out of being in the moment and being present with yourself. And so solitude, what else did he say? He said solitude, discipline, and I forgot. I'm feeling really wonky, actually. It's like his energy is like really intense, like really intense. I'm gonna be so tired after this. I'm gonna knock out so good tonight. Discipline, solitude, routine. And routine is really important as well, but not to get like overly like dependent on the routine, but the routine to help you create normalcy and to help you. And routine, he's saying as well, like loose routine. So even if it's like from like 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. or whatever, you're like brainstorming ideas or like writing poetry or dancing, like whatever, just like better organizing your time instead of wasting time. And that's going back to the phone too, and like the internet, it's like, because when you have access to all these things and they have access to you, that's like a really good like time sucker, like where you'll just be scrolling and you're like, holy shit, I just scrolled for so long. So routine will help with the time aspect, and then discipline, like setting the difficult boundaries, moving through the shadow periods with grace, holding yourself accountable and responsible, really paying attention and just focusing on the self, like instead of being invested, and really being in the moment, being in the present, not being too much in the past and not being too much in the future, just really being, because right now is literally, this is it. This is all we got, baby. This is it. Okay. How can we connect with you, and what is something you want us to know about you? Okay, so how can we connect with you? You guys, I just tried to look upon his face. It was like really intense. See, this is why I read, like, I need to start channeling aliens more, but it's like so easy for me to read and channel humans because, like, I can relate because I'm a human. And so it's like easy for me to laugh and like not feel intimidated. But like when I just tried to like look upon his face, I felt things I've never felt before, and it was really intense and kind of intimidating. It's just really powerful. I felt like this whooshing all through my chest and in my third eye, and like he was like not even fully like physical, and he was like really intense looking. Wow, it's just so intense. It's so different from like humans like that. But we have interdimensional DNA, which is so weird, like the missing link, right? Okay, how can we connect with him? So laying under the moon, talking to the moon, connecting under the moon, bathing in moonlight. You can connect with him in water sources or like in the shower, or like if you're taking a spiritual bath. And like by rivers, by oceans, by lakes, any sort of like water source, streams, you can connect with him there. Um, and then, oh, digging in the earth, like planting stuff in the earth and gardening in the earth, like because everything he was telling us about the resurrection of everything coming up over onto the surface. And also because, you know, he's buried, like he's dead, like he died because he got chopped into a million pieces by Set and then put back together by Isis or Aset, and then they conceived Heru or Horus. So he's like dead, he's buried, right? So it's like when you're digging in the ground, damn, this is like a deep feeling to die and be resurrected. Damn. I just feel him. It's crazy. And when it's so crazy even that we asked how we can be rebirthed like in the new year. So I guess that was practical answers. I want to get like spiritual answers on how to be rebirthed because that felt really good, like the way I just channeled it. It was like crazy. It's like a drug kind of. But digging in the earth and planting flowers, because planting flowers is like loving Mother Gaia, because like Mother Gaia is suffering, like the planet has been suffering for a long time for so many different reasons, you know. And it's like when we give back to her, we're giving back to ourselves, but also that digging in the dirt, because you know he's dead, and the planting the flowers and just working in that like dirt, you can connect with him with dirt, especially cemetery dirt. Damn. And I want to see spiritual advice for being reborn and resurrected. No matter how dark things get, no matter how many monsters you have to fight, no matter how many challenges you need to overcome, you have to know thyself and never give up. And never stop fighting for what you deserve and what you know you were born to achieve. He was showing me like a menta, like all the different levels of the underworld, and then Ra going through and coming out Keper Ra, and understanding that your birthright is resurrection, to constantly die and be reborn. Wow, that's so deep. What is something you want us to know about you? Okay, so he showed me like a sigil. He showed me like his energy spreading out in like sacred geometry. And then he showed me like a sigil that I could use to connect with him. I guess that we all... No, he's like, just keep it to yourself. Okay, so he showed me a sigil, and he showed me himself as this like sacred geometry, this like blue sacred geometry. And then, oh wait! But if it's like, he's like, keep it to yourself, but he's also like, it's the time of hidden knowledge. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a painting out of it, and then I'll reveal it, because he's like, I don't want you to just fucking sketch it on like a pen. I want you to make it. So I'll make a painting out of it. Yeah, I feel that really heavy in my third eye right now. I'm gonna make like a painting out of it, a blue painting out of it. So he showed me the sigil that I'll make and then share it with you guys when it's all done. He just said that too. He's like, good things are worth waiting for, right? Like, okay, so that's interesting. And then I was like, what do you want us to know about you? And he was like, that I'm me. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what can we know about you? And he was like, that I was gentle and kind and fair. And he was saying that a true, healthy, divine masculine energy is gentle and kind and fair and nurturing, but also steadfast, steady, and protective and brave. And so he was just talking about, like, going back to the first question, how out of alignment masculine energy has become. And so he's hoping that the unearthing of his tomb can help heal some of that wounded divine masculine energy. And then we might hear about a different tomb of like some sort of like more feminine energy being unearthed, and that would be really cool. I guess that'll be my prediction. Yeah. Wow, it was just really nice though. I like his energy. He has a nice energy. All right, let me look at the chat, see what you guys are saying. Yo, I saw it too. Sacred geometry expanding from his third eye. Wild. Yeah. What a strong and beautiful channeling. I'm really loving his energy, right? I can tell Corn loves you so much. Aw, thanks. I love Corn too. Corn is so regal. I know, she's silly. I love Corn. Corny Corn. Everyone loves Corn. I know, she's famous. She's famous. I have to watch the... Let me just move this closer instead of making this hard on myself. I have to watch the live later. Got an emergency to take care of. XO to you all. All right, girl. Take care of yourself. Was he present during the latest Great Earth War? Oh, I already stopped channeling. Actually, before I start talking to you guys, I should say thank you to him and goodbye to him, but I'm going to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to my guides, guardians, ancestors, angels, star family, higher self, Yeshua, Baal, Ra, and God Source for allowing me to be the channel through which these messages flow. We thank you for the truth and we thank you for the advice. Mora, Shana Namaste, by the power of three, Samadhi P always works, always a blessing. And let me just say thank you to him. Whew! That energy! Christ, hey. I really want to ask about my dog. I feel like she came back with me from Kemet. I've been struggling, especially her name. You should look up a bunch of ancient Kemetic gods and goddesses and figure out which you would like to pay homage to by naming her. What was your first channeling experience like? I think it's hard to say. I think I started channeling. I really started channeling back in college when we would go to abandoned and insane asylums. I would say I was looking for spirituality in all the wrong places. But, like, is it really wrong? I don't know. Just really intense. So we had a group of us in college that we called We Own the Night. We had a fucking Facebook group back before Facebook was like an angry cesspool of Karens. Like, and no offense to people named Karen. One of my best friends is named Karen. But you know what I mean. Facebook just ain't the same. It used to be like fun and like silly and everything. But yeah, we were like, we own the night. And there was probably like almost 20 of us, and we'd go break into these insane asylums. And one of my friends was a witch. He was like a witch before I was a witch. I started to get into it because of him, like, because he was really into it. He's Wiccan though. And then my other friend like read the tarot, and that's how I got into witchcraft and tarot. Christina and Doobie were their names. And we made fucking Ouija boards. And so we had the group of people who were just like into like the ghost hunting, and then you literally had the group of like witches and like our witchy friends like channeling and like doing the Ouija board and like bringing the cards. And like Doobie used to put me in a salt circle and fucking surround me in candles, and I would like dig my fingers into the ground. It was actually crazy because I had like my body would get like taken over, man. Like, obviously I'm in like an abandoned insane asylum at like 12 a.m. in a salt circle, like surrounded by candles, like what I know now. But like back then I'm like 18 and the internet was not like it is now. You couldn't just go find like like you had to dig for information. Like it's just really different. But so I was like sitting there and and I would channel, and one time I channeled like, that's so funny this comes up because I channeled underground tunnels at that place. And then one time we were outside of one of the places and somebody like jumped or something, and it was like hollow. And so we started banging on it, and when we like moved some of the dirt around, we saw it was like a fucking like it was like a doorway to like underground, and there was like this stairwell coming down to it, and right at the top of the stairwell you could see through the window it said please stay calm. So it's like they're grabbing someone like please stay calm, taking you down the stairs like dun 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 into the tunnels. I think my first channel, which is interesting because when we were channeling Osiris, he was talking about what's under the ground. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like in this like it's me, Doobie's roommate, Glenn Coco is what we used to call him. And They were a really cute little pair. So the reason I got my name Dutchess was because when I first went to college, I made my friend Doobie. I accidentally flat tired him, like I stepped on his flip flop, and I was like, "Oh my god, sorry!" And he turned around and was like, "It's totally okay," because I guess he wanted to hang out like really bad, but didn't know how to like say hi to me. And he was like, "Would you like to get lunch?" It was like the perfect excuse for him to ask me to hang out, and yeah. And so then yeah, we just became best friends, and he would smoke hookah out on the lawn. It was a really small school, and he'd put all these blankets and pillows out, and he'd got hookah, and his roommate Glenn got hookah, and he started inviting a bunch of people, and then it got really big. And before it got big, we were all like choosing like positions, like Doobie was the president and like Glenn was the secretary and all these things. And then they were like, "What do you want to be?" And I was like, "I want to be the Duchess." And they were like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to be the Duchess." And then my friend Eddie, whose sweater this is crazy. This is all looping together. My friend Eddie, who gave me this sweater, was like, "I'll be the Duke." And Eddie would just like walk around with a trumpet and literally just like, he didn't even play trumpet. He just like got a trumpet, and I hung out with all the dudes. Like it was like me and a bunch of dudes who like played instruments, and so they'd all jam. And I had like I genuinely had a giant fucking triangle and like a sparkly pink pencil that I would like would hit my triangle with. And yeah, we'd just be out on the lawn jamming, smoking weed, smoking hookah, Doobie Nation. There was 3 main freshman dorms. All 3 the dorms, they would come, and like one time they brought like a ton of tacos, like fucking the Taco Bell boxes, like they're just people coming over the horizons, double fisted, like 10 people with like all these tacos, like hello brothers. Like it was so fun. It was very hippie like. And so yeah, Doobie Nation, we ended up, that's when we own the night. And we ended up, creating that little group and going to the haunted places. And yeah, anyway, I feel like I got way off my story. So I was in a circle, and I started channeling this redheaded guy that was underground in the tunnels, and they had them almost in like a chain gang where it was like they were all like cuffed together. And he had somehow like slipped his wrists out or something. I don't know, maybe he was like malnourished or whatever, and he went to run, and it was like him like running through the tunnels, and I was just like there like watching him, like, and it was like there were so many twists and turns. It was really scary. There were so many twists and turns, and like the signs were really unclear. And then he ended up running right into like a doctor's room, and then he got punished by getting like extra experiments because he ran like right into the doctors. And it was like really disturbing. I was like crying and screaming, and they had to like shake me out of it. And when I came out of it, my fingers were like squinched into the like ground. Like I dug my fingers into the ground, and the doctor was like so scary. Like I just like I had the guy's view of the doctor right before he like met his doom, whatever it was. It was because I didn't see that was like way too scary, but it was just like this really scary looking doctor with like a black like comb over and like big thick black glasses and like a lab coat, just like looking down at him like so evil. And the room was like so white and sterile, and everything was like so metal, and there were all these like really scary devices and stuff. Like it was so, and when I came out of it, I had to like I said, like pull my fingers out of the ground, and they were like shaking me and like screaming for me to come back, and I was like crying, and I like came out of it, and I was like 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 what? And that time it was just me, Doobie, Glenn, and then I think this other guy, I can't really remember. And so like the other guy, I think he stopped hanging out with us after that because it was like scary for everyone. And I guess when it was happening, my eyes were shut, so I couldn't see, but I guess it looked like they were getting surrounded by candles. Like they kept seeing flames everywhere, almost as if people were like standing there with candles, but there was like no humans and no candles, but they could like see the flames of candles like dancing all around us. And that's why they were trying to like shake me out of it, because they were like, "What's happening?" But yeah, there were lots of times we brought a Ouija board there one time and lost it there. One that we made ourselves, like put our own energy into. We did a lot of questionable things. It was crazy. There's one time, oh my god, one time I straight up, I'm trying to like rack my brain for all my memories. One time I actually saw like there was this kid, Shane Masters. I still remember because he had like a celebrity name. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't use last names. Forget you heard that. Shane, and then what was the guy? I think his name was like Adam, and no, that can't be right. That can't be right. That can't be right because I know Shane and Adam now, so that's just my brain. I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter. Shane and his little friend. He was short and funny, and they brought a crowbar and they named it Claudius. But anyway, it was like the little guy climbed a tree one time. It was like trying to see if he could get in the window, and then he fell down really hard, and he was like, "Oh, I fell on Claudius." And yeah, but me and two other guys, we all saw the same dude. Like, we all looked like this, and at the same time in the window, we saw this, like, we straight up saw a man with a bowl cut. Like, it was like a fucking Dumb and Dumber bowl cut, but he was really scary. It was like bowl cut, and then like jagged, like not, almost like your teeth if they got like spread like this, because it was like they weren't fully physical, so almost like this, like a scary like scratch mouth kind of, but like almost just like the mouth wasn't in full form, so it was like a mouth stretched out, and then it was like sunken black eyes, and his face was like barely there, and we all three turned around, and the little guy that was always cracking me up was like, "What the fuck? Did you just see a guy with a bowl cut?" And I was like, "I saw the bowl cut guy." And then Shane's like, "Yeah, me too. I saw a bowl cut guy too." That place was crazy. So much shit happened in that place. Part of me used to wonder if they were still using like the tunnels and stuff. Girly, do you have e-transfer? I'm looking for a personal reading from you. I need it so bad. I only trust you, to be honest. Yeah, you can book on my website. I have Square now, and also PayPal. Man, I wish my college experience was like this. That's so dope. Thanks. We used to, it was so fun. We'd park, there was like a school across the street. We'd park at the school. Times were just simpler. Like, times were complicated back then still, because it was like 10 years ago. But they were 100% simpler too. You know what I'm saying? Like, we parked at this school, and we would wear all black, and we'd all run across the street in increments. So like I said, there'd be like 20 of us and we'd all like pull in increments. Like, we'd all leave like 10 minutes, apart or whatever, so we weren't all coming in at the same time. We'd park in the school, and then we'd wear all black, and then like three people would cross until we all like kind of scatter in. And it was like a big campus. It was like a campus of broken down abandoned buildings, and then there was like one real still being used like town hall, and then there was like the groundskeeper's home. And so we'd have to run by the groundskeeper's home in like black, like all black in the dark, like hoods up. And then we'd have to break in. We'd go during the day, and we'd like scope out, like we'd look for open windows or like open doors and stuff. And like, we were crazy. That's so dangerous. Like, but I guess you don't really think about stuff like that when you're in college. Like, you're literally like drinking so much that you're like in a puddle of your own puke. Like, everything you do is dangerous in college, I think. Breaking into abandoned buildings, whatever. It was super fun. We had a good time. I got scratched and bit one time. We all went up this like really tiny ladder. It was so fun. Like, it was just like we'd climb up, and we were like in this attic, and I got a bunch of scratches and a bite mark. And then when we were jumping back out the window, I felt like all these scratches on the back of my legs, and I thought I like had sat on insulation or something while we were up there, even though I didn't sit. I just heard a bang. I got scared. And then when we hopped out the window, the crazy thing was we had gone during the day, and like there are all these nurses' houses where like the nurses would live on the outside of the campus, and all of them just because there was asbestos. So they left everything. They just like left everything as it was because there was signs of asbestos. So like you can look into the nurses like quarters, and there's like set dinner tables, and like it's really weird. It's like an abandoned, it's just so weird. It's like people just upped and left. And so we were like looking in the windows, and like they were all abandoned, and none of them had like they were all like kind of like fucked up and overgrown, no electricity or anything, obviously. And so I hop out the window. I'm feeling something fucked up on my arm, and then I'm feeling like all this itching on the back of my legs. And then this other girl who was also really empathic was like, I'm feeling like really strong itches too on the back of my legs. I was like, we must have like, when we hopped out the window, we must have like gotten glass on us or something. Like, we'll have to check ourselves when we get back. And as we're like talking, I look at one of the nurses' quarters, and there's like the shade drawn, and the shade wasn't drawn earlier in the day. Like all the shades were open on that side. That we looked at every single house. I looked in that house. The shade wasn't drawn. The shade was drawn. A light was on, and someone was pacing like in the window, and it was only a light on in like one room. And I know it could have been a person, but like it didn't seem like it. I'll just say that in the moment when all that was happening, that looked like an entity. It was like a black figure just pacing back and forth. And so then we're like, fuck, like, we better get out of here. And then that's when I got back, and I saw I had a bite mark, 3 scratches, and then I had scratches all on the back of my thighs. And so did Becca. She had scratches all on the back of her thighs. And it wasn't like insulation, it was like scratch marks. It was crazy. Those were the days. I miss those days. I'm pretty sure I got abducted too, because I have like this weird memory that I remembered recently, I think from someone else's comment on one of my abduction videos. So back in college, all the houses where you'd go and drink, they were just like called like, you know, houses. Like I remember when I went to UConn, it was like called Puke House, was like Puke House. I stayed over at Puke House a few times. It is what you think it is. There's actually a broken window there too. We used to chill on the roof and shit. But anyway, so it was like that. But like at West, they all have like names. So like when I was at WestCon, it was like, there was like Jazz House, because it was like the jazz guys. And then there was like Yellow House, because like the house was yellow. And so we were coming back from Yellow House. I loved Yellow House. That was a hipster house. And that was like mostly like we'd go and we'd see all of our like the hipster freshman friends that we had. But we're coming back from Yellow House with our, okay, so let me explain too. There was 3 different like dorms, and there was Newberry, and that was like the hipster dorm, and then there was Litch, that was literally Litchfield, that was called like Dirty Litch, and it was Dirty Lich. That's what it was. But that was a fun dorm. Those were all my friends was in. And then Fairfield, which was like the clean, preppy, like beautiful, brand new dorm. And I ended up in that, which was like good for me because I wanted a nice new dorm. That's just where I ended up. But all my friends were in Lich. And so I just stayed there all the time anyway. And that's when we had like commune where we all just like lived together in like Doobie's room. This is so funny. I like talking about it. It was a good time in my life. A complicated yet simple and enjoyable time. But anyway, so me and my Lich friends were walking back with the Newberry kids, like the hipster kids, and we were like laughing because like one of the kids had been like poorly painting hearts on all the stop signs, one of the hipster kids, of course, and it was, like, called, like, the Scourge of Danbury or something, like, the newspaper wrote about it, how, like, offensive and atrocious it was, and we were, like, laughing about it 'cause we're, like, with the kid that was, like, painting these hearts that they wanted to make everybody think was, like, horrible, and so we're all walking, and we're just drunk and we're stumbling and we're laughing and we're being loud and we're like banging on the stop signs with the hearts and everything. And then all of a sudden it's like this like really loud, vibraty, swoopy sound thing. And I will never forget all of us. We were all so drunk and we were like looked up at it like every single one of us had like the hanging arms, the wide open jaw, that like drunk, like can't really control yourself. Like all of us were like looked up like that at the same time slowly, and it was like this triangle. It was like a huge triangle, and it had like 3 light pods, and they were glowing between like turquoise and red, and it was just like hovering over us, and we were all just like standing there, like I said, like with our mouths open, just like staring up at it. And the next thing I remember is waking up in my bed and like looking at my alarm clock and like my phone. That was back when I had the Cosmos. It was not a smartphone and I would lose it all the time. And I remember waking up being like, "Oh, I don't remember going to bed. Where did I put my phone?" But the Cosmos was next to me, which was also a miracle, just like the UFO. But I remember looking at my clock at like I don't know, it was like early hours of the morning and being like, "How did I get here?" And it felt like I don't remember walking back to my dorm. I don't remember how I got in my bed. I mean, I was drunk, but still. That memory got unearthed only like a couple years ago. I completely forgot about that. Nikki, did Osiris say anything about the return of ancient Kemetic souls in this time? I'm so curious. I know he addressed his return via consciousness. I mean, more like reincarnation in human form. I think it's like how he was saying, how it's like it's more effective for them to channel through all of us as humans than to come into one human. You know what I mean? I think it's more effective. It's the same thing with like Yeshua. Like, think about it, like one human leading a bunch of humans, there's so many risks involved in that. Like, there's just so many like perfect. It's Martin Luther King Day. Look what happens when a lot of power lands in one human. Assassination. You know, they take them out. So it's like, I just think it's more productive to have the consciousness spread and return through each of us. And like, perhaps this unearthing of the tomb is the resurrection of Osiris, in the sense that I was saying, now his ways are going to be coming at least to the surface from underground. The spirits are showing me how I took my twin flame jar and I buried it under the ground, and then the spirits undug it for me. Like, that was so crazy. I just woke up and it was dug in a perfect circle. I forgot I even buried it. It was right after I got my Solomonic magic book and started working with the jinn. I swear they dug up my twin flame jar. But basically what they were saying was that my jar was more intelligent because it had been underground, and so when you resurface it, it has like the intelligence codes of being buried, which makes sense because he's like Osiris, so he's dead and he's buried, and like his information is dead and buried. And so it's like, as it comes to the surface, it's more wise now and more expansive because it's been buried, and it's going to collect in individuals. Drinking raspberry leaf tea. I want tea. Drinking spearmint. Oh man, everybody's having tea. These experiences mirror a lot of my life at 18. Shared the equivalent of a tiny dorm with like 5 different people, and also went to spooky hunts. through abandoned houses. Wild to look back at it. That's so funny. Right? It was a good time. Just woke up. I got my coffee. Who's drinking herbs and what are they? I feel that it gets messy down here, and it doesn't seem like it's very appealing to them to reincarnate here at this time. Yeah, it's too dense. I feel like that should just make people feel even more proud, like star seeds and higher dimensional beings that have incarnated during this time. Like feel even more proud about being here and what you're doing, and like the thing, like instead of being hard on yourself, be kind to yourself, because it's a very dense time to be alive, full of evil, hatred, lies, betrayal, pain. So if you're surviving in this density, you're doing amazing, and you should be less hard on yourself. But don't be complacent and lazy, but you know what I'm saying. I'm drinking ginger and a tea for the throat. Nice. H2O. I'm drinking H2O flavored tea. Good dad joke, Lizzie. That was fun. Thanks for suggesting that, Lizzie. Lizzie's the one who emailed me and told me that the Tomb of... Oh, yeah, the prophecy about that. Lizzie, I just had a really crazy thought. What if the prophecy about that is, like, twins? Because, like, how that woman, like, how she prophesies that, like, Osiris and... or Aset and Ausar, or Osiris and Isis will come into union, and it'll be a divine union, and they won't even know. It'll be just, like, happening. What if that's twins? Like, what if that, because like I was saying, it's effective to like spread your energy out. What if that is the twin flame energy, a part of it anyway, or connected to it? I also know every twin I've ever met has a really deep connection to indigenous past lives as well. I've not met one twin flame couple that didn't have an indigenous past life. In all the work I've done, I've met a lot of twins, and there's so much pain, karma, and trauma surrounding the slaughter of indigenous people. Yes, ma'am, I think you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, especially too because like their love was foiled by evil, but like the evil didn't prevail. She resurrected him, and then he produced a spawn from like the golden phallus, you know? And so it's like, I feel like that's going back to the beginning of the channeling too, of like all the stuff coming to the surface, like the evil, it's pinning the sexes against each other, but in the end, like it'll all come together in the form of a new creation of unity, because the evil will never win. I drank a few different teas today because I got discounted Advent tea calendar. Nice! Good for you. I love that you shared about your background. You remind me so much of myself when I was younger. I know I am getting older because I suddenly make dad jokes. No! I make dad jokes. I make fucking dad jokes too. Am I old? Just kidding. I know I'm not old. I mean, some people might think I'm old, but I don't think I'm old. 30 years young, baby. I don't know. I don't know what way it's gonna look in the camera, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go make some tea now. So what I've been doing is I take maple syrup, half and half, boiled water, and then chai tea and bedtime caramel from the Yogi brand or whatever brand it is. And I make a vanilla chai, and I put a little cinnamon. It's so good. Love always wins. Exactly. Love you, girl. You're so awesome. Thank you. You're so awesome. I appreciate all the moderators. I appreciate all the people who came through. Thanks for joining me. We'll be back tomorrow for Tarot Tuesday. Thank you so much for doing this. It was just rocking. Hell yeah. So guys, I think I offended, before I go, I think I offended my physical therapist, because I bet you didn't think this was going in that direction. So I was getting jaw physical therapy, which was already kind of awkward because it's like with a guy and it's like, this is a little weird. But anyway, I was getting physical therapy for my jaw and that was fine. And then I started getting craniosacral therapy at this other physical therapy place, and I really liked it, and they were like, oh well, we can just treat both, and that makes more sense because it's like then I have less driving to do, there's no insurance issues, whatever. And so I called them today and was like, yeah, I'm just gonna like continue my care over there. And the secretary was like, oh, that makes complete sense, but also sounded a little bit like annoyed. And then she was like, I'll cancel all your appointments. They booked me a bunch of appointments. And then and the physical therapist called me. He sounded mad. He was like, he sounded really irritated, but he was like nice. He was like, I just wanted to touch base, like you're not coming back. And I was like, no. And then he was like, well, we'll leave your case open. And I don't know, he just sounded hostile. Now I'm thinking about it. It's just weird. I don't know. I just feel, I don't know, it was just weird. That reminds me, I saw maple sugar and it reminded me of you because of the vanilla chai. Good feels all around. Hope you have a cozy night, a lovely cozy night. Thank you. Labels aside, my current partner is my 5D husband and is very chaotic. I'm drinking wine like a bad child. Good to hang out with everyone. Alright, we'll all start rambling now that I told my weird physical therapy story. Alright, love you guys. See you tomorrow for... Oh, physical therapists hate when you cancel. They get weird, yeah. Oh wait, I just remembered something important, y'all. There was a study that came out where a lot of chocolate brands have been full of... What? Cadmium lead? Be careful. Oh my god. Okay, if you guys didn't just hear that, a bunch of chocolate has lead in it. Great. Great. Thank you. Great. The food makers. What the hell? Thanks for telling us that. Okay, bye guys. I'll see you tomorrow for Terror Tuesday. Alright, I love you. Bye.